We're rolling. Here I am. I've had enough with Marco. I sent him away, and I'm gonna have a technical chat. No society and technology today, but we're gonna do a tech chat. I see loads of friends walking around, people waving hi, so I'm gonna wave hi to one right now.
Are you guys recording?
We are recording. We'll say hi when we're done. But it's good to see you, Raf. We're at Zero Trust World here in Orlando, hosted by ThreatLocker. Amazing crew. Great community here, I have to say.
Oh yeah, everyone seems pretty stoked to be here, right? And it's contagious.
Yeah, all about learning, which is really exciting. And you
3-day learning event.
You did a lab.
I did.
So
yes.
I'm here with Alex Benton, Special Projects here at ThreatLocker. And you did, I think it was a Metasploit Lab, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So what's that all about?
Metasploit Lab, and it was a beginner type lab.
Okay.
So you could go into it knowing next to nothing and still get some interesting information out of it. The most interesting piece of information is the tools that we use, one of them being Metasploit, another one being Nmap, which are prominent anytime there's any hacking in like the movies or anything. Right. Or my favorite one to point out was the Overkill Gaming trailer for our Control-Alt-Pwn contest that we're running. Every single hacker that they invited on used both Nmap and Metasploit in the trailer. So that's a good view. And in my lab, what we do is we just kind of walk you through a hack, and then we show how much easier that hack is in Metasploit. It's literally just set and run. That's it. Okay. Whereas before we had like 20-minute process of getting everything right and knowing exactly what goes where and all this information, and then Metasploit just makes it super easy. And then we run Eternal Blue, which was the exploit that was stolen from the NSA for the WannaCry virus back in 2017, which
hit
was
all the hospitals and everything.
A huge disaster.
Yeah, not a good thing.
We show how easy that is to do in Metasploit, and it's just set and run. And the thing about that one is it's quite complicated if you try to do it without Metasploit. But with Metasploit, it makes it very easy. And so our goal with showing that is to show you, hey, you need to patch your stuff. If you don't patch your stuff, this is how easy it is to exploit your computers. So hopefully they got that takeaway.
So describe to folks, as best you can, some of the manual steps, like what information you're putting in, how you're configuring. If you had to do it without Metasploit, what are some of the things you'd have to do? Like understand the network, understand the MAC, IPs, whatever it is that...
We do run the first exploit without Metasploit, and I picked one that was purposely just a little bit simple. So we have to find a vulnerable machine that's on your network, get its IP address, see what ports are open, then we have to look at those ports, see if we can connect to those ports, what software is running on those ports. Does that software have a vulnerability? And that's what we found is that, yes, in Metasploitable, the VM we were exploiting, there is a vulnerability on the FTP port, and we exploited that to get into another port, which let us in with root access. And so it's like a 10-step process, whereas when you use Metasploit, you go in and you say, hey, exploit that machine with this exploit, and that's it.
So you said the outcome message is patch your stuff, right? Patch your environment, right? Can we not just say patch your stuff? Do we have to show Metasploit? I'm wondering, I'm not questioning the training, and I'm giving you space to help people understand why it's important to know what is possible with these tools and that hackers and bad actors can do. Right?
As much as I like to pretend that only ethical hackers and pen testers are the ones using Metasploit for good, they're not the only ones using Metasploit. And there are nefarious cyber criminals out there that will use Metasploit to continually search for machines that are vulnerable. And what they like to do is they like to read the patch notes for this month. And they say, oh, that's interesting, I don't know about that, let me look into that. And then once they've figured out how the exploit works from the patch notes, they look for people who haven't patched yet. And they'll usually write a script so that they can attack a large number of targets in a short amount of time without having to do it differently each time. Or maybe they'll write a worm like the WannaCry virus was. and that'll just spread naturally until it's stopped.
Yep. And it was interesting, we sat in one of the sessions here on the dark web and walked through the information that's freely available, which is what machines are running things at certain places. Some people publish that stuff on purpose, some of it's just published by the manufacturers. Things are released unpatched often, right? And they normally get patched when they get brought into an organization. So there's a lot of, one might say, well, how do they know what I'm running, right? A lot of that's freely available on the dark web.
Oh yeah, you'd be surprised at how much information your computer is telling anyone who wants to know about you through the various protocols that are running on it in order for it to function, to connect to the internet and do the things that you need it to do. One of the reasons that the WannaCry virus was so effective is because there hadn't really been a large cybersecurity event that convinced people of the importance of cybersecurity in a while. So people were using outdated versions of Windows that hadn't been patched. And the particular vulnerability that was leaked from the NSA for the WannaCry virus, it affected all Windows machines unless they had that very latest patch. So the entire environment was just open game. So it could have been much worse had cybersecurity researchers not stepped in and found a way to disable it before it could spread too much further. But it still did a lot of damage, and it's still
Hutchison,
fresh in people's minds.
Hutchison, was it? That, Justin Hutchinson?
He was one of them.
Right.
There were several. What happened was, it was actually a kid, I believe. Marcus. Yeah, Marcus.
Hutchins.
Something with an H.
Totally
I'd have to
the
look it
name.
up. He found the kill switch in
That's
the
what it
code,
was, Marcus.
and he registered the domain so that the WannaCry virus became inert. But what happened was the next day, they saw a new variant with a new URL, but a different cybersecurity researcher registered that domain. And this happened for like 4 days straight until there was finally a variant that didn't have that kill switch inside of it.
It's wild. So what was some of the feedback from people in the lab?
I've gotten good feedback so far. A couple of people were like, oh yeah, I knew that, but this is a beginner's course. I did encourage everyone to try our Control Alt Pwn competition. The exploits that I showed in the demonstration, though, are not the ones that are going to win you that computer, unfortunately. They are patched on that one. But we've gotten some good feedback. They
They
seem
could
to
use
enjoy it.
Metasploit and Nmap to perhaps...
Metasploit and Nmap are going to be play a crucial part,
Yeah.
but the specific exploits that I demonstrated are not vulnerable on that machine.
Nice one. Nice one. Well, Alex, keep up the good work, helping people understand and learn about the tools that help them and understand how the bad actors use them as well. So, thanks for the chat.
No problem. It's good to be here.
Thanks everybody for listening and watching. Stay tuned for more here from ThreatLocker Zero Trust World.